Mark Holmes has a better chance sacrificing chickens on the planet Mars than Kenny Pickett has ever replacing Jalen Hurts. You by the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is our quarterback, our franchise stud quarterback. And he goes out there in OTAs in his gym shorts, and all of a sudden, Kenny Pickett makes one throw, and he's outperforming Jalen Hurts in OTAs. Get the hell out of here. Mark Holmes has a better chance of sacrificing chickens and cooking chicken wings on the planet Mars than Jalen Hurts ever has a chance to lose a starting job to Kenny Pickett. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Now, why am I bringing this up right now? Because it's that time of year, right? It's that time of year where we hear one story one day, then we hear a conflicting story the next day. We hear things that are just totally untrue, and then things that you never think would happen that actually are way more true than you think. One of the things that I know for sure isn't true is this report that we got yesterday, where people are trying to make a much bigger deal about this than it is. Eagles Kenny Pickett looks, quote, sharper and turn heads after outplaying Jalen Hurts at OTAs. Now, if you were on Twitter yesterday, you probably saw this, where you were getting report after report. Steeler Nations, they had a bunch of reporters report on this. ML Football reported on this. A bunch of different places talking about Kenny Pickett outperforming Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's a joke, dude. It's OTAs. OTAs, they're not in pads, okay? That's the first thing. Now, I like to come on here and I like to talk about OTAs, and I like to talk about if a guy did something good and I get excited about hearing about it. That's fine. But, you know, you got to keep it in context. When I'm talking about it, I know I'm talking about in the context of it being OTAs and not preseason or training camp. But people are running with it. And really, this whole thing, I think, started from one of Kenny Pickett's trainers who wrote this. Kenny Pickett delivers. The backup quarterback looked sharper than Jalen Hurts, to be honest. Hurts was on the money on his first 2 7-on-7 throws, hitting A.J. Brown on a quick inside slant, then following up with a nice sideline throw about 15 yards downfield. Pickett, though, was consistently on target. The Eagles can win games with him if something happens to Hurts. Now, I don't really have a problem with this tweet as that much, okay? It's the running with it afterwards where you get these reports that he's looking back, he's overtaken Jalen Hurts at OTAs, and the implication is that people or Jalen Hurts should be worried, and we got to keep an eye out for a quarterback battle that is going to be brewing. It's not going to happen. Now, can Kenny Pickett come in and win a few games for us? Yes, he can. Can he supplant Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback? I don't think so. I don't think so, and I don't think there's any reason to think that whatsoever. So my issue isn't even what the tweet made by his trainer. It's just the way that some of these places ran with it, trying to put out there the narrative that maybe there's a quarterback battle brewing. I don't see it. If Jalen Hurts, God forbid, and hope it don't happen, goes down maybe 1 or 2 games, yeah, I think Kenny Pickett could come in and win, especially with that, with the talent around him. But is he going to replace Jalen Hurts? Not a chance on hell. It ain't going to happen. And I'll tell you that right now. I mean, listen, I love to go, hey, yo, look, Quinyon Mitchell looked great in practice. Look, Cooper DeJean, he's looking great in OTAs. But it's in context. It's in context of it's OTAs, and you can only take so much of it, or take so much out of it. You can't say that the backup quarterback is supplanting the starting franchise quarterback because of one OTA practice that was open to the public. I don't think so. I definitely don't see it. So I just thought it was funny. I had a comment about it. I'll tell you what, if we're being honest and we're keeping it real 100%, what would have me, what story came out recently that would have me more worried than anything else? It would probably be the Vic Fangio thing, where the players in Miami didn't like him. Miami Dolphins insider confirms the entire defense hated Vic Fangio. It's what it said. ML Football said, wow, the entire Dolphins defense hates pound current Eagle defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, according to an inside source. And, if you read the article goes on to say, well, the players didn't like Vic Fangio, this, that, and the other. To me, I don't know what to really make of that. If we're just being really honest, I can tell you this about Miami. Miami could not beat good teams. They could not beat good teams when they played them. They had that problem all year. And listen, I've said this before, I'll say it again. When you play in Miami, it's got to be a lot of distractions out there in that city. A lot of nightlife, beach, all these things going on. So I'm sure it's very hard for players to lose focus. And I could see a situation where Vic Fangio is vision tunneled about defense and what's going on with the team and any distractions he probably doesn't like. Now the article, it goes on, and I'll post a link to it in the description, but it goes on to talk about the players, they would have to go to the media hoping they would ask questions to Vic Fangio because he never would answer the questions. He made a lot of promises about using players to their ability only to try to make players do things they weren't good at. We've heard that before. So, that worries me a little bit, but not a lot yet. I will say this. If Vic Fangio, if his defense goes out there, the Eagles defense this year, and plays as well or does the same thing the Miami Dolphins defense did last year, I think the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. I think they're going back to the Super Bowl. Why do I say that? Because I think their offense can carry them, and I also think that the Eagles have proven they can win big games. Here's what I'm saying. In the article, this was one part. It was talking about his defense and how good the defense was last year. While the players didn't enjoy playing for Fangio, the defense was still pretty solid for Miami in 2023. The Dolphins' defense was tied for number 10 in NFL yards per play allowed and forced a lot of turnovers, ranking number 9 in NFL takeaways. Plus, the team tied for 4th in yards per carried allowed, 3.8, while allowing the 15th fewest passing yards in the league. If you get similar production from this Eagles defense, they're gonna go to Super Bowl. I truly believe it. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. Miami could not beat the good teams. The Eagles have shown. You can say what you want about the Eagles, okay? But the Eagles have showed that they can beat the good teams. They've done it last year. Look at all the teams. They beat all the good teams for the most part. It was only that epic collapse at the end of the year that killed us. So when you look at the stories and things going out around and OTAs and things like that, this would concern me more, the Vic Fangio thing with the Dolphin players. Like, is it going to be a situation where the players here aren't going to like him? I don't think that's the case. I think it's a different city, different climate. I think that the players are a little bit different than they were in Miami. And so I think it'll be different. And if you look at what Jalen Carter has said about Vic Fangio, he loves him so far. He loves him. So unless he's just saying that, it looks good. And I look at Jalen Carter and I think Jalen Carter is going to have a monster year. I don't know if we're not talking enough about Jalen Carter this all season. I'm just going to keep it real because Jalen Carter has gone out there last year and yeah, he ran out of gas at the end of the year. The whole defense did. But Jalen Carter, he looked like a monster at times, and he was dominating, especially early in the year. This year, another year under. But I got really excited. Pause. No diddy with Jalen Carter, watching him at the OTAs. Just he looks in shape, he looks focused, and I think he's gonna have a monster year. And I think he's legitimately going to be a hellraiser. Somebody, shout out to Louis Cabrera. He sent me this, and this was talking about Jalen Carter in his first year as a rookie compared to one Aaron Donald. Thought it was pretty interesting. Aaron Donald had 707 snaps his rookie year, 44 pressures, 29 hurries, 9 sacks, which is ridiculous for a rookie defensive tackle. 6 quarterback hits. Carter had 562 snaps, so he didn't play as much. 49 pressures, more pressures than Donald. 38 hurries. 6 sacks, 4 quarterback hits. Jalen Carter's future is bright. And like I said, those 6 sacks came really early. He ran out of gas. The whole defense did. But another year, I expect, my expectations for Jalen Carter are around 9 to 11 sacks. I think he's going to give you that, okay? And there's some guys on this defense we've got to talk more about, and I want to do specific videos on. There's some guys I have in mind that I think are very important to the success of this defense. But I really, truly believe this, and I've said this. I think nobody more than Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They set the tone for the entire defense. If they're successful and they come in ready to play, I think you'll see a lot more success from the guys on the outside. But when you look at OTAs and a lot of the narratives out there right now, this whole thing with Kenny Pickett and Jalen Carter I thought were ridiculous. And I'll say this. If I was worried about one thing, when I hear that players did not like a coach that is now on my team, I can shoo it away. I can brush it under the rug and act like, oh, it doesn't matter. That was Miami. But I think we've got to keep our eyes open about it. I think we have to wonder what really happened and then hope for the best. Hope maybe that some of that's not true. But if Vic Fangio can get us to produce the way the Dolphins defense produced at minimum last year, I think they go back to the Super Bowl. I just do. But, we'll see. With that said, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. You may see a video later today or early tomorrow. I just don't know yet. But with that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. Dallas still stinks. I'm seriously worried about Mark Holmes. I don't think he's going to make it through the season. I literally think we need to raise money to get an EMT crew to be on set at all times of all his live streams, because I don't think he's going to make it. Have you watched this guy lately? Every video is about Dak Prescott. And then if it's not about Dak Prescott, it's setting up the next Dak Prescott video. And everything is defend Dak Prescott. It's not Dak Prescott's fault. It's everybody else's fault. And then it's like try to make people feel sorry for Dak Prescott. Then he goes and he attacks other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. And he says that Lamar Jackson can't win the big games in the playoffs. What do you think Dak is? He ain't going to make it. He's going to wind up either freaking out and going insane, or he's gonna beat somebody's ass. Like E2 Blue, he's gonna wind up whacking him in the back of the head. He's gonna beat Michael Anthony, where's the fitness's ass. Kim Jong Un's gonna get his foot in somebody's ass. The guy said, I told you to run the ball. He's gonna get it. Somebody's gonna get it. We gotta keep an EMT staff. We gotta keep some medical personnel in the back on set of all Mark Holmes live streams this year, because the dude's a mess. Denzel Washington out.